Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. It's Sunday, which looks like a really relaxed, chill Sunday. Why? Because Juventus is not playing, it is international break. And yesterday I already told you, it was a bit difficult to find some topics to speak about. Today, I would love to repeat you the same, because it is the same, it's difficult, but then, you know it. Another day, a new controversy, and later in the video we'll speak about the words of Francesco Calvo that made a lot of Juventini, especially if we are reading just the title or the big headlines, extremely angry, extremely frustrating. So I will come back on that, and then I will explain you also why it's a bit difficult for me to speak about Juventus today, but we will find something to say. Be reassured. So maximum of like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We start now with Gazzetta dello Sport, that instead of being a pink paper today became a blue paper, which in huge, Inter un altro sì, with good months on the paper. Inter another yes after Zielinski, after Taremi. They already have the yes of the player, Gudmundsson, for 30 million euro. Some people asked me in the Telegram group, Beppe, can you go through the details about Inter, Oak Tree, Zhang? I tell you honestly, we have already our own things to mind about. We have our own problems. I don't have the time to look into the house of Inter. It's not even a passion for me to look into their house. And on top of that, if you have some big papers, which should be the neutral #1 paper of Italy, that is totally refusing to speak about it, to explain us, well, it's tough. It's really tough. So we will go and to the next topics. What are the next topics? Well, it is what I was finding online yesterday and today. The new Juventus, Antonio Conte 24-25, a new Juventus, Thiago Motta 24-25. A Juventus, when I see the names, because they are showing us, you know, that 3-5-2 or that 4-2-3-1, when I'm watching that Juventus, I don't understand. I could make some videos like that, but I don't know. We'll come back on that. So let's see the first thing. National teams. Today, Italy will play. Not a lot of national teams will play today. Italy will play. It's kind of good news and bad news, because no Juventini should start today. So no Chiesa, no Cambiaso, no Federico Chiesa. Only players from other teams. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Why? Because it's also nice when our players are resting, so that they are not taking risks for injuries, because we need our players, especially these three. We really need them against Lazio, especially Chiesa, because without Vlahovic for the red card, without Milik that is injured, with the Moiskin that will not have the 90 minutes in his leg, well, we only have Yildiz. So if we can't take risk, I'm even more happy. Of course, it's a bit sad because you are watching the Italian national team without Juventini, but probably they will enter in the second half and make our guys from New York super happy, because they are playing there in New York this evening. We go towards the other topics. Why it's also difficult for me to find topics, because what are on the front pages today, we already spoke about it yesterday. Yildiz on Corriere dello Sport. La meglio Juventus, the best Juventus. Playing with the word Juventus, youth. Why? Because since 30 years, since 1993, the year of the debut of Del Piero, never a Juventus has been that young. And they are explaining it a bit. They're explaining what the different ages. We already spoke about that argument, so I don't want to go that much. But you see a Yildiz that is there. And then on Tuttosport, Soulé, 50 million. Should we? Is it worth that we sell him for 50 million euro? And what made me extremely laugh was the title on Tuttosport inside pages, Magic Soulé, da 50 milioni. Magic Soulé, a magic that is worth 50 million euro. What is funny is, it's not una magia. It's not translated in Italian. It's Magic Soulé. And when you go back to the thumbnail of yesterday, well, I've used in huge, magic. Do you remember that thumbnail of yesterday? So maybe instead of me waiting for Tuttosport to actually read, to inform myself and then making a video, maybe it's Tuttosport that is waiting for me to upload a video, watching, and then creating an article. What's really funny, of course it's not that. We're speaking about professional people, and I'm an amateur that is recording videos, but it was quite funny, the link. Now, speaking about these two, about Yildiz, about Soulé, they're extremely impressive at the moment. There is the big debate, should they stay, yes or no? And if Yildiz is less a debate about leaving or not, because Juventus had really the intention to not only keep him, but also extend him until 2029 and giving them number 10, going central with Yildiz becoming the next star of Juve. On the other side, Soulé is the big debate. I don't know if he will reach a value of 50 million euro. That goal that he scored with the under 23 of Argentina, of course, it will help to increase. We were already speaking about a 35, 40 million euro. He needs continuity until the end of the season. But when we were asking for some signs of Soulé, well, he did it yesterday. He did it. 2 days ago. He did it with a fantastic, beautiful goal. And finishing correctly also on the front pages. Now, I said already my opinion about the case Soulé. I would love to keep him. First of all, if you follow the channel since years, you know how much I love Matías Soulé. You know how much I always believed in him. You know how patient I was with him when he was not playing with continuity 2 seasons ago with Juventus. And you know how enthusiastic I was in the beginning of the season. Even more than the beginning of the season. First part of the season, let's say, when he was doing magic on magic on magic with Frosinone. So I would love to keep him, especially on that right side of the field. That is letting me a bit think about that Di Maria, a bit about that Dybala with his fantastic, beautiful left foot. A player that is a bit a hybrid there, that grew in maturity, in experience, in leadership, because this year at Frosinone it is clear and evident how much he was taking the team on his shoulder for a really long time. So I would love to give him a chance at Juventus with playing time, especially if you are telling me, Beppe, who do you choose? You choose Felipe Anderson from Lazio, or do you invest in your own player, Matías Soulé, after sending him on loan? Of course, Soulé, without any doubt. Then, of course, you have the other side of the medal. Felipe Anderson is a free player that you are able to take, while Soulé is probably one of the only players where really you can cash in with a big profit and money that you need today, not in 2 years, not in 3 years. And then you start thinking, what do we do? But it's true that if we are speaking more and more Giuntoli, and all the Max Allegri, about a future Juventus made of the youth that we already have today, well, if we start selling Soulé, Ealing Jr., Huijsen, Kenan Yildiz, Miretti, well, that young Juventus, that project, we will never see it. And that's why it's super important to make really decision based on today, but also the future. Is it worth selling Soulé today? And I always told you, if you tell me you sell Soulé for 50 million euro, you replace him with a Felipe Anderson that is free, but you are able with these 50 million euro, with the budget that you already have, with other players that you will probably sell, etc., to build a complete team with a left back, with a right back, with a midfielder, understanding if yes or no Adrien Rabiot needs to be replaced or not. But if you're able to maximize one huge sacrifice that is Soulé, I can even understand it. If it's just to tell me, Beppe, we take a free player like Felipe Anderson and we invest all that money to reduce the cost of a Coop Manners, no. This is, according to me, sacrificing a young potential good player that we still need to test to have a immediate answer on one player without taking care of the rest of the team. And that would be, according to me, a big mistake. On the other side, look, when I'm watching the team that I was showing you earlier, Antonio Conte 24-25, Thiago Motta 24-25, would be crazy, yeah? Would be fantastic to make a video with a beautiful thumbnail. The new Juve will look like. I'm sure I will have at least 15,000 views on that video. Look at the teams that they are putting online. Conte with Donnarumma in the goal, 3 men in defense, Gatti, Bremer, Calafiori. So you sign a Donnarumma, you sign a Calafiori. In the middle, McKennie, Jorginho, Coop Manners. Jorginho as a regista, you need to sign him because it's not free at the end of the year. Coop Manners at 60 million euro. Cambiaso on the right side, Gosens on the left side. On top, Vlahovic and Zirkzee. What are we speaking about? What are we speaking about? How is it even possible that Juventini are creating these things and putting them online? They are just even discussing about them. Donnarumma, Calafiori, Jorginho, Coop Manners, Gosens, Zirkzee. No! Look at the team of Thiago Motta, 24-25. Carnesecchi, also there. We changed goalkeepers. Carnesecchi, Danilo, Bremer, Cambiaso. Cambiaso on the left, Danilo on the right. that yesterday played with Brazil on the right as a captain, and he did really well. But Emerson, okay, there we are limiting our investment, but still, Calafiori, we need to sign him. Locatelli, Kefren Thuram. So here we have Carnesecchi, Calafiori, Kefren Thuram. 3 men behind Zirkzee. Zirkzee. We have Chiesa on the right. He doesn't want to play on the right, but we put him on the right. Koopmeiners as a trequartista, number 10. Zaccagni. What are we speaking about, guys? Carnesecchi, Calafiori, Thuram, Koopmeiners, Zirkzee, Zaccagni. Guys, it is impossible. 24, 25. What are we speaking about? It's totally crazy. It's totally crazy. Where will that money come from? From Soulé? Why not? Maybe. How many can you cash in for Soulé? 40 million euro, 45. Let's be generous. 45 million euro. Where is it coming from? From Huijsen? Roma is thinking about a plan, qualifying in Champions League to unlock the money to make an offer to Juventus to keep Huijsen. Yeah, but how much? How much will they offer for Huijsen? Okay, it's true. 10 million will come in the money in the pockets of Juventus, selling the winter, because we know it, one more game played with Genoa and they are obliged, if they save themselves, so if they avoid relegation, which if you're looking at the table, at the ranking of Serie A, will be the case, then they will be obliged to sign the winter. The only option they have is or relegating, and I don't believe they want to, or not playing a single minute anymore of Conny de Winter. So we know that 10 million will come here. But guys, seriously, do we need to spend time to speak about these crazy fantasy formation? I don't know. Let's go to the big topics that probably you were waiting for. Yesterday, I saw a tweet from Gol Italia. And the tweet said, La Juventus a Milano, Juventus in Milano, not to play a game, Juventus in Milano, understanding Juve, moving from Torino to Milano. Calvo is confessing, from time to time I'm dreaming about it, but there are already 2 big teams there. What is he speaking about? What is he saying? It's totally insane. It's crazy. It's mad. It's a shame. It's outrageous if you are seeing these words. I dream about it, but there are already 2 teams there. Then you start reading a bit more the picture. From time to time, I dream to be in Milano as a company, not as a sporting club, as a company. But there are already 2 clubs there, 2 big clubs there. There is no space. That being said, I am extremely proud to be able to represent Torino in the world. And then you say, okay, still shocking. It's not okay. But okay, it's not speaking about Juventus as a team. It's speaking as a company. We know, for people that do not know, that are living abroad. In Italy, there is probably the most beautiful city, that is Roma. Beautiful, aesthetic, a museum. Firenze is beautiful. You have so many beautiful cities. But the real power in terms of commerciality, in terms of industry, in terms of where is the money? It is in Milano, capital of fashion, like Parigi in France. There is no secret about that. There is absolutely no secret. The money is in Milano. When there are the agents, the clubs that are going to speak about transfer, you go to Milano. Juventus has a small office in Milano, for example. Like all the clubs of Italy, they have a small office in Milano to be physically also present there when it's important, when it matters to be there. But anyway, saying I would dream to be there, it's still big. Before making a video, before jumping on it, before reacting, I said, wait, I need to understand. Then you see an article written of a few columns that is a recap of it. I said, I need to wait. I need to understand. So what did I do? I went on the site of Calcio Finanza. When has that interview been taken? The day of that business meeting. Do you remember when Scannavino spoke? We already went to his words. The words that were already controversial. Do you remember? Then we spoke about Allegri. A few words here and there in the Athletic taken and putting online out of context. And then we go towards Francesco Calvo today. I clicked on the article. Guys, it's an article of so many paragraphs. So it's long. It's super long. It's really high level. It's really beautiful. They are speaking about FIFA World Cup for clubs, the importance of it. They are speaking about the importance of being present in USA, playing these tournaments into USA. The World Cup for a club, but also the tournée that we are doing. They are speaking about new sponsors. They are speaking about from Torino to Hong Kong, because for people that do not know, in 2019, we opened an office in Hong Kong where we have 7 people, where we are investing 1 million euro a year, and we are taking out of it 7 million euro. Unfortunately, it was the bad timing to invest on Hong Kong, because first, you had the protest on the street in Hong Kong, secondly, COVID arrived, and thirdly, the difficult moment as a brand from Juventus, not only off the field, but also on the field. So it was a bad timing, but the importance of it. They spoke about global expansion, the importance of it, about brand, new revenue streamlines, new revenue funds. They spoke about digital world, unlocking monetization, because at the moment you don't have that much of revenue. It's nearly zero about the digital world. You have presence, you are there, you have presence, but you have not a lot of money that is coming in. They're speaking about the possibility that one day a club, and maybe even Juventus, would be able to unlock that. And that's why you create Creator Lab, why you are investing that much on different platforms to grow as a brand, the importance of it, because the day that you are able to be free and to start really unlocking, monetizing, not involving broadcasters and third parties, well, you will have an extra road of revenue, which is extremely important. That's one of the biggest challenges of Juventus today. Why? Because today we know that television right, well, at a certain moment you reached a peak. That peak has been reached in a lot of leagues, and some of the leagues, they are even decreasing in these television rights. So looking for other stream revenues. Speaking about the gap of Serie A towards other leagues, Premier League, Spanish League, so La Liga, and then you have the 3 other ones that are fighting, even if the recent reports are showing also Bundesliga that is growing more and more and more. He spoke about match day, the new opportunities to have new revenues involving let fans participating, but also commercial entries, new sponsors that are also out of Italy, looking abroad, looking wider. It was a really great interview. High level, a lot of vision, a lot of money talk, a lot of marketing, but this is his role. He didn't speak about Allegri, he didn't speak about the players, he didn't speak about football. And in all that interview, this really, I loved it. Interesting to understand vision, etc., etc. If you want to, maybe one day we can go paragraph by paragraph in live. Let me know in the session. People are taking out of context one sentence. The fact that he said, sometimes I dream to be at Milano. Look, what is the question? The question comes not from him. It comes from the journalist that is saying, how important is it, or how is the fact that Juventus is not in Milano impacting the club? So the question from the journalist is, can you explain us the impact for the club of not being present in Milano? Where he said, and that's super important to understand, from a pure and only commercial point of view, Milan is offering more opportunities than Torino. Did he say something crazy? No. On that one, it is a fact. It's not even a lie. It's not even making bigger than the reality. It's the reality. Our commercial team is a lot of time in Milano. And then he's explaining also an example with Ferrari. And then he's saying, from time to time, I'm dreaming about being present in Milano as a company on a commercial level. Under bracket, he is laughing. I believe, and I already told you in the video of yesterday, you need to pay attention on what you are saying. If you are using the words, sometimes I'm dreaming about being in Milan, of course people are angry. Correctly. Of course people are infuriated. Juventus is Torino. Juventus is from Torino. Juventus is proud to be in Torino. How many times did I tell you? According to me, Torino is the most beautiful city on earth. The city where I would love to live. Not only because of Juve, but because of the city. Because the history, everything. It's the first capital of Italy. Yeah? It has so much history. It's beautiful. I feel great in Torino. When you're saying that, of course, you're offending people that are supporting Juve. The history, of course. And that's where you need really, as a manager, to pay attention to the words you are using. But the concept, if explained better, if not taken out of context, has a sense. First of all, because you're answering a real question from a journalist. And then he's saying, but that being said, about the commercial side, etc., we are proud to represent Torino in the world. A city that historically we are really linked to, but also for our supporters, Italian and international fans, especially that are looking at it as home. And then also about the positive impact that Juventus has on Torino, which maybe is also sending a message to the other big two teams. Because if we, Juventus, and it's true, I already explained to you that, how many talks I have with the taxis that are confirming we, Juventus, has an impact, positive impact on the city of Torino, well, for the other cities, Milano and Inter, it's probably the city of Milano that is having a positive impact on two of them, because of tourism, because of infrastructure, because of all the possibilities to go there. That's what he said. That's what he said. And that's where I go with, guys, sometimes we are really just waiting to create cases. And it hurts, and it's true, and it's not nice to hear. And it's not nice to hear. He should have used other words, because dreaming of, it's huge, it's big. But if you're waiting a bit, if you're reading, if you're informing, you know that it's one small sentence in pages of interview that is not even taken in context, because you have a difference with this one and the big title that I just told you a second ago. There is one super important thing that in all that interview that I wanted to tell you now. He says we have a real limit that we are feeling today. We are trying to do everything in the perfect way. And we need to do it, because at the moment we are not doing it. But even if we reach perfection, we are conscious about the roof. The roof of growth of being in Italy. He's not speaking about Milan, he's speaking about the gap of Serie A with La Liga, with Premier League, with the other territories, because we are not ready. It's extremely interesting article. If you have the opportunity to read it, go for it, because that's what I'm telling you since so long. This is also explaining why you go and you sign a Cristiano Ronaldo, because the roof has been it from Juventus in Italy. They did everything they could do in Italy. Speaking about the 9 years of victories, about whatever, the marketing, change of, they did everything they could in Italy. And then they're trying to go global. Enough is in Hong Kong, presence with tournée in USA. They are obliged to. But at the moment, whatever you do to try to be perfect, next gen, whatever, women, whatever you do, even if you reach perfection, which we are not at the moment, but even if you reach the roof, that unfortunately it's not backed up by La Lega, by Serie A, by Italian football. That's an important topic that one day I would love to go even more in detail with you. Even if you follow the channel, you already know. Maximum of like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Grazie, forza, Juve.